Neil Armstrong steps out of the lunar lander to take his first steps on the moon. And what would I do? I would shoot Neil Armstrong as he comes out of the lunar lander. Hey there guys, Portalmaster 9351 here. I almost botched the intro of my own video. That's how long it's been since I've done a video. It's been like a week. I mean, it hasn't been that long, but it's been a little while. Anyways, y'all, I am back again with another edition of Ask Portalmaster. It is finally returning. The last time I did one of these episodes was in March, and I am finally back now that we are in July. I've got a lot to talk about. I've got a lot of upcoming videos that I'm finally going to be able to do. I just needed to get motivated, get my motivation back, and the motivation is back to do these videos. It's been really hectic the past 2 weeks, and I'll talk more about that when we get to the mid-month update. But today, I am going to be answering the questions that you guys asked me in the March edition of Ask Portalmaster and the announcement video that I put out like a week ago at this point. So, without further ado, let's dive into answering your questions. The first question for today is, what is your favorite game of all time? And that comes from Crypt Crusher. So this is a tough question, as it's been a while since I've played a lot of games that weren't Skylanders, because for the longest time, all of my money was being dumped into Skylanders. But probably the game that I look back on with the fondest memory is probably actually Super Mario Galaxy. Is it the best game I've played? No, it's not. But is it probably my favorite game that I've ever played? Yes, it is. Just because it is a game that, I don't know, it's so strongly associated with what I played on the Wii. I loved the Wii. The Wii was amazing, and all in all, Super Mario Galaxy is just such an iconic game, and is probably my favorite game of all time. Although, like I said, it's not the best game I've played, but it's definitely one of the most iconic, memorable, and favorite games that I've played. Crash Bandicoot News asks, if there's another Skylanders game, do you think Chaos will be the main villain? Unfortunately, yes, Chaos would probably be the main villain, just because Chaos has been in every other Skylanders game ever, and in any other game, Chaos would be in it. So, yeah. ThunderDragon17 asks, do you think the Skylanders franchise will grow up with its audience? This is an interesting question, because in my opinion, by making a mobile game, it actually did. Now, this is a very controversial opinion, as what a lot of people think a game should do is grow up with its audience. And I don't understand why so many people think that this is how a franchise works, because no other franchise has ever done it before. Look at Pokemon. Pokemon's anime, game, whatever, is the same today as it was in the 90s. It didn't grow up with its audience. Its audience continued to like it. That's what happened. Now granted, Pokemon was geared towards older people to begin with, like young teenagers, whereas Skylanders was aimed more at preteens, 7 to 11-year-olds, you could say. Whereas Pokemon was geared more towards, I don't know, 9 to 13-year-olds, as I think probably more of what its core audience was originally supposed to be. So it's a little different, I know. The point is, the formula didn't change, but Skylanders didn't change either as time went on. However, it did change a little bit. It went to mobile. It's currently on a mobile-only platform. And in my opinion, it actually did adapt to its audience. Why do I say this? Because kids today play more games on phones, tablets, etc. than they do on game consoles. At least kids of the age range that play Skylanders. So in my opinion, Skylanders actually did evolve with its age range. It didn't. No franchise is supposed to become older as its audience becomes older. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Maybe a film franchise like Harry Potter, where you get more serious movies as time went on. But for most other franchises, the franchise does not grow up as the audience does. And I've never understood why so many people have tried to say that that's what Skylanders should do. Maybe it's just because you're an older person now, but in reality, the people that they've aimed the game at didn't change. So why should the game change? You see what I'm saying? That's a controversial opinion, but it's the one I have. Dina Lewis asks, do you think the closing of Toys R Us will affect Skylanders? Simply put, no it won't. Skylanders does not have a physical toy game right now. Now, if Skylanders ever returns, will it affect Skylanders? Still no, because the reason that Toys R Us closed down, or at least a major reason that it closed down, was because business and, like, sales is moving online. Sales of Skylanders aren't going to go away because Toys R Us closed. Sales of things are not going to go away because Toys R Us closed. They're going to stay where they are. Online. Sales are online. People don't go to stores anymore. Some people do, but not a whole lot of people do. So in reality, would would Toys R Us closing affect Skylanders or other Toys to Life properties? In my opinion, no it won't. Davis Harper asks, if you could go back in time and change one thing in history, what would it be? Okay. So this has always been a really interesting answer that I've had for this question. If you could go back in time and do one thing, what would it be? Here's what I would do. I would use my time machine to go to the moon. On 1969, Neil Armstrong steps out of the lunar lander to take his first steps on the moon. And what would I do? I would shoot Neil Armstrong as he comes out of the lunar lander. You're thinking, Portalmaster, why would you shoot Neil Armstrong? Well, here's the thing. As soon as they find out that somehow Neil Armstrong got shot with a mysterious bullet from the future on the moon, what are they going to think shot him? An alien. If they think aliens of the moon are on the moon, what are they going to do? Put much more funding on the space program, and potentially the Soviet Union and the United States, who are, racing each other to the moon, would team up to combat these new aliens on the moon, establishing A, world peace, and B, a far superior space program to what we have today. All by shooting Neil Armstrong. Now, would it be bad? Would I feel really bad for Neil Armstrong? Like, it's gotta be, I feel bad that Neil Armstrong had to die, right? But at the same time, if we somehow establish world peace between the two giant countries and get a better space program out of shooting Neil Armstrong, then that's what we're gonna do, son. And in case you can't tell by this mural behind me, I really like space. So, that's what I would do if I could change one thing in history with my time machine, assuming it could take me to the moon. And if it couldn't take me to the moon, who invents a time machine that can't go through space as well? What kind of lame time machine is that? Tyler Lunsford Magic asks, is scientifical a word? Well, in my scientifical opinion, scientifical is a word. Alyssa asks, why have you not played the classic Spyro games? Do you plan to play the remastered version without playing the classics? Okay, so here's the reason I haven't played the classic Spyro games. I don't have them. How would I get them? And then, I could get them online, yeah, and play them on my PlayStation 1, but really, who wants to play them on the PlayStation 1? Like, okay, I understand that Spyro and Crash have their nostalgic factor. I played Crash Bandicoot, the original games, on my PlayStation when I was little, and I now have the Insane Trilogy. But if you asked me, what would you rather play? The Insane Trilogy or the PS1 games? I'm gonna want to play the Insane Trilogy. It looks better, it runs more smoothly, and it doesn't require me using a console that I don't think I've touched in years. So, the reason I don't want to play the Spyro games is because I'm going to play the remastered trilogy, and I'm going to experience it for the first time in its HD glory. Now, I don't have that nostalgia factor with those old games. I'm never going to have that nostalgia factor with those old games. So I shouldn't try to experience what others experienced years ago, because if I look at what Spyro was years ago with my current gamer mind, it's not going to look as good as it did 17, 18 years ago. So, therefore, I'm just going to play Spyro when it comes out in September in its remastered HD glory, and honestly, I think that's going to be enough for me to be able to experience the magic of Spyro the Dragon. Neil asks, so due to the Crash rumors surrounding a new game, do you think the same will happen with Spyro? Now, in case you're not sure of what this guy is talking about, there were rumors 3 months ago that Crash Bandicoot would be getting a new game in 2019, and recent leaks, within the past week, actually, have reconfirmed, pretty much again, that Crash will be getting a brand new game in 2019. And what this guy is asking is, do I think the same thing is going to happen with Spyro? And the answer to that question is absolutely, heck yes, I do think that's going to be the case. Crash Bandicoot is like either the 4th or 5th best-selling PS4 game of all time. The Insane Trilogy, that is. So, I imagine Spyro's going to do the same, if not better, when he comes out this September. Plus, it's cheaper. It's cheaper than the Insane Trilogy was. So, do I definitely think that Spyro is going to outsell Crash? Yeah, I do. And when Spyro outsells Crash, Activision's going to look at that and say, hey, we could make money if we made another Spyro game. And what are they going to do? They're going to make another Spyro game. It's an instant sell right now. The Spyro Remaster, instant sell. It's going to sell amazingly. So are they going to make another Spyro game? Heck yeah, they're going to do that. Probably 2020. Probably Toys for Bob will take Spyro. Vicarious Visions will take Crash. That's what I'm willing to bet. T-Tube asks, what planet would you like to live on? That one. Mars. Planet Gamer asks, what game are you into playing right now? Funny story, so I just finally beat Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, all 120 shrines. Yes, I used a guide, but that's irrelevant. But anyways, I beat all 120 shrines. I only used the guide to find the shrines and beat the extremely hard ones. I figured the puzzles out on my own. I figured the Divine Beast puzzles out on my own. It's all good. It's not like I cheated my way through it. I just used a map. So I just beat that, and I was going to move on to playing my PS4 games. You know, I got a PS4 back in November, and I've been playing through a lot of older games that have been recommended to me by others. So, what happened? Well, my PS4 DualShock controller broke, and I'd buy another one, but I bought a PSVR, and I'm going to talk more about that in just a minute when I get to my update thing in the middle. It's going to be an extremely long episode because it's been so long since I've done one. But anyways, the point is that I was going to be playing Uncharted, and then the controller broke. So I can't play Uncharted, and I can't play Mass Effect Andromeda, which are the two games that I bought recently, used for pretty cheap, and really wanted to play them, and I can't play them, and that's really annoying. So to answer your question, what I'm playing right now is Doom, VFR, as well as Disney Infinity, which I bought at Toys R Us for $2, and I'm finally getting to experience. And so yeah, those are the games I'm working my way through right now. Skylander Fanatic 88 asks, what is your favorite SkyTuber? Other than yourself, because, you know, it's definitely me. Favorite SkyTuber as of right now, there are two really good SkyTubers right now. They're pretty much the only other really active SkyTubers. There are more than two. There are more than two, I'll give them that. There's people like Portal Power TV. He's got really good content, but the favorite one right now has got to be Jack28. He just makes some of the most creative content, in my opinion, and it really appeals to me right now. Although the other active SkyTubers right now is also, of course, Crash the Skylands. Crash the Skylands is amazing. Love the guy. And you also have Portal Power TV, who makes really good content as well. So those two are great, but my favorite is Jack28, hands down. Owen the Epic Portalmaster asks, do you have any advice for public speaking? Okay, so the best advice that I have for public speaking, because I have never struggled with public speaking, and that's something I'm bragging about. But here's something I have struggled with. Face-to-face interaction with one person used to give me a lot of difficulty. Just carrying on a conversation with someone my own age was really difficult for me. But speaking in front of a crowd of 100 people was no issue. And I spoke at my graduation in front of 1,000 people, and it was no issue. And again, I'm not trying to brag here, but here's what I always do. I always imagine that I'm not actually talking to people. Now, that's a crazy thought. How can you look at all those people and think that you're not talking to a person? You're just talking, at least this is the way I visualize it, to numbers and statistics. You're talking to a mass of people. A mass of people, not one person. They don't all think the same way. So no matter what, you're always appealing to some of the people there. The people are not going to come and attack you or anything, and people are good people in general. So my biggest advice is to just pretend like no one is there. That's what I've always done. And even now when I get up in front of people, I got up on stage at my graduation, and I did a big look around, but I didn't see one person, 700 times. I saw one mass of people and just thought, speak. Speak. That's all you have to do is speak. And you know what? It was a good speech. But my clothing was messed up during the thing. I had a thing that went around my neck, and it was like completely turned to the side. I had no idea. Made a pretty big fool of myself, not because of my speaking, but because of how I looked. And yeah, that's beside the point. But the point that I'm trying to make is, you just kind of have to visualize that it's a mass of people, it's data, it's not one person, and that's the biggest piece of advice that I can give for how to do better in public speaking. Now, some people would argue that that method is not personal, you don't have emotional appeal. That's advanced public speaking. But the thing is, if you just want to be able to get up in front of people and just be able to talk, you just have to pretend like it's just a mass, like no one is there. And if you do the mass thing, it's just it's hard to explain, but you just have to speak as if no one is watching, even though you know that they are. Best advice I can give. Alright, so now it's time for me to finally give my channel update. This is going to be the longest episode of Ask Portalmaster ever, and I'm okay with that because it's just been so long. Future episodes won't be so long. But I wanted to talk about what I've been doing the past few, months. So, I bought a PSVR, and I love that thing. That thing's amazing! VR is truly the future, and I have a video about that coming up very soon. I also have a video coming up about the state of the Skylanders franchise. As you know, the closed beta for the Skylanders mobile game just, wrapped up a couple weeks ago, and it's time to take a serious look at the state of the Skylanders franchise. I have talked about it in the past, and it's time to have a serious talk about the future of Skylander console games, and that I don't think we're getting one for a while. And it's been a thing that I've been skirting around for a long, long time, and it's finally it's time to tackle that issue head on. This is not the video for that, but there is a video coming up very, very soon. I'm extremely hyped for a lot of games that are coming up very soon. Project Octopath Traveler comes out in a week. So freaking hyped for that. Then, September, you have the Spyro remaster. That's another game, extremely hyped up for that. Finally, in October, we have Starlink Battle for Atlas, which I promise you guys is going to be an amazing game. You just got to take my word for it. I've been doing some Starlink videos. I wish my videos were getting a few more views for Starlink, but I just think that there hasn't been enough time for hype to build for that game yet. But I promise you guys, once reviews come out, people are going to realize that it really is a good game. I can tell by looking at it, maybe it's just me being a space guy, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be an amazing game, and I'm so hyped for that. There's a lot of games coming up that I'm extremely hyped for, and I've been doing a summer tour of games, although I kind of had to put that on hold because my controller broke on my PS4, and I just want to play games. That's all I want to do. I'm just trying to broaden my horizons so that I can talk more about gaming in general. And let me tell you guys, I've been doing a lot of research on gaming and a lot of research on technology, and I am pretty sure that I have a lot of good discussion videos that I can do soon talking about the future of interactive gaming, virtual reality, displays, remasters, all kinds of amazing videos that are going to be extremely technical, but also simple to understand, but also deep and immersive and really good discussion quality that you guys have come to expect from me. I think the thing that I pride myself on the most on this channel is definitely my discussion videos, and I want to be able to deliver that in other games beyond just Skylanders, because I think that I have a lot of potential to make good discussion videos for other gaming franchises as well, in addition to just gaming in general. And I know I talk about gaming in general a lot, and that's a really nebulous concept, what is gaming in general? But I think once I actually start to put out videos talking about gaming in general, you guys are going to understand a lot more of what I'm talking about. Now, I said to you guys that the past month has actually been more hectic than I thought. Well, let me tell you why. I was at Disney for a week, I was back for 2 days, and then I was in Houston for 5 days, and I've been back for a week just kind of mentally recuperating from the journey that's been. While I was at Disney, though, I got to do some of the most immersive and high technology things that I've ever done in my life. In case you guys have never been to Disney World, they have got some of the coolest technology that I think is available to just your average person right now. Their rides are insanely advanced technology. Avatar Flight of Passage is a new ride that they premiered like last year. It is one of the most mind-blowing, immersive things that I've ever done in my life. Then I did a virtual reality experience down there as well that was Star Wars. You basically put on a headset and you have an Oculus Rift, literally, it's the Oculus Rift, and you have a laptop strapped to your back and a backpack with a giant battery pack on your backpack. And you're carrying a gun, and there's like a maze built, and you're a stormtrooper, and there's 3 other people, and it's insane! I had never done anything other than Samsung VR in Best Buy before doing that. And doing that convinced me to buy a PlayStation VR. And I'm going to have a video talking about virtual reality coming up soon, but I just wanted to talk about that. That was a mind-blowing experience. Look up thevoid.com if you want more information on that VR thing. If you live in New York or LA, I actually think there's places that you can already go right now. There's one in LA, there's one in Florida, Orlando, there's one in, I think, Vegas, actually. Maybe not Vegas, maybe so, I'm not sure. And then there's one in Utah where the company started. But it's an amazing thing that you guys should look into. It's crazy awesome, and I'm gonna stop ranting about that because I'm still crazy, y'all, crazy. But yeah, lots of exciting stuff coming up on YouTube, and I think you guys are really gonna enjoy what the future holds for this channel. I've talked about this for a while, and I'm finally getting ready to actually start delivering what I promised. And I changed my profile picture in case you guys didn't notice that. The reason for that is because, well, chaos is an iconic thing for people in the Skylanders community. But the logo is kind of questionable if you're not in the Skylanders community. And I thank Jack28 for making that logo for me 2 years ago. It's an amazing logo. It really, really is. For a Skylanders channel. But that's not what I want to be anymore. I want to be a gaming channel. And I have to evolve, and so do my logos, and my channel art, and my intro. We're working on a new intro right now. Just not quite ready to show it off yet. But yeah, that's it for the mid-month update. Let's get back to answering your questions that you guys asked me in the announcement video, because the other questions were all from the March episode. These are all from the announcement video, so let's dive into that. Phoenix Dragon 115 asks, what are my opinions about the Skylanders Academy series up to this point? Skylanders Academy Season 2 is definitely far superior to Season 1 in terms of story, character progression, etc. It's a great show overall though, and Season 1 was great as well. However, with the improvement that Season 2 had over Season 1, it really excites me to see what Season 3 has in store for us later this year. Brainless Bushwhack asks, how old are you at this point? Quick answer, 18. Kenner Elvira asked, who do you think is the cutest Skylander? Hands down, it's gotta be Breeze. I know that Breeze is technically a mini, but still, Breeze is definitely the cutest little Skylander that exists right now. JC asks, who is your favorite Skylander from Skylanders Imaginators? Easy answer again. A lot of these are easy questions. Ambush, hands down, is the coolest Skylander from Imaginators, although Robo has got to be a close second. Cool World 123456 asks, do you think there will be another Skylanders game on console? And if so, what type of game would you like to see? I think there will eventually be another console game, but it's going to be a long time before we see another one again. And when it does return, I think it will be, and would like it to be, an open world game. I think that open world games are becoming more and more common, and if we just look at the trend from the past several years, we can see that most games these days are becoming more and more open world, more and more open in general, and I think that Skylanders, when it returns, eventually will follow that trend. Jack28 asks, what are you most excited for? The Spyro Remastered Trilogy, Skylanders Ring of Heroes, or Starlink? This is a tough question. Okay, so I'm excited for two of those things for two different reasons. Or all three of them. God, I hate picking favorites, but I guess I'm going to have to pick a favorite. I'm going to go and say Starlink because it's a Toys to Life game. Is probably the one I'm the most excited for. However, Ring of Heroes is a promising game, and the beta was actually really impressive, and I really enjoyed it. And I am excited for it, but not in the same way I'm excited for Starlink. Now, Spyro Remastered Trilogy, that also reignited trilogy, I should say, also looks impressive, but I still don't have that nostalgia factor that was originally associated with it. So it's kind of hard for me to get extremely hyped for that when, well, I just don't have the nostalgia, but it still looks like a good game. Starlink, however, appeals to me on the Toys to Life aspect, on the more open worldish aspect, and the fact that it takes place in space, and as you can see, I like space! So, Starlink has definitely got to take the cake for what hypes me up the most out of those 3 games. But all 3 of those games are looking insane, and I can't wait to play all of them when they come out. So that's actually it for the questions that you guys asked me that I felt like I needed to answer like really badly in this episode from the last episode and the announcement video. If you guys did not get your questions answered and would like them to get answered, I didn't have time to do them all just because there's so many of them. Go ahead and put them back down in the comments, maybe change them up a little bit, maybe phrase them a little differently. Maybe I'll get around to them next time. And as always, be sure to ask me your questions down in the comments so that when I do another episode of this series, I can get around to answering your questions. Anyways, guys, that's all I have for you guys today. This has been Portalmaster 9351. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and shout out to all my patrons on Patreon, especially Liam Corner, The Collector Creepypasta, and Portal Power TV. That's all for now. See you guys next time.